UK court convicts former Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu, 2 others, over organ trafficking. Constitution alteration bills. Correspondent looks at the fate of 19 unscented bills as the 9th Assembly winds down.
Have a committee that will look at those bills that we feel strongly about, that he has not signed, and we'll go back to advising again why we think he should sign these bills.
Plus, ECOWAS Parliament thumbs up Nigeria's general election.
I use this video to say, congratulations Nigeria, congratulations West Africa.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us on NTA Network News. I'm Cyril Stober in Abuja. Hingino John Adams joins in from Lagos. And you can follow this news live on our website, nta.ng/live, NTA News Now, and other social media platforms displayed on the screen. The House of Representatives has expressed concern over the inefficiency of internet banking services of some commercial banks in the wake of the recent Naira redesign and limit on cash withdrawals policy. Supporting a motion from Representative Sergius Ogun, House members urged the Central Bank of Nigeria to direct commercial banks to overhaul online banking platforms to ease operations. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
The lawmakers are worried that Nigerians are recording losses through unsuccessful bank transactions due to hitches in online operations.
Ineffectiveness or difficulty in using internet banking services across the online banking platforms of most commercial banks in Nigeria has brought untold hardship, suffering and difficulties on Nigerians in the past 3 months.
They urge the CBN and commercial banks generally to address the challenges being experienced by customers. The second reading of a bill seeking the amendment of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency Act on cultivation and decriminalization of cannabis for medicinal purposes elicited debate.
For cannabis made for medicinal purposes, because Mr. Speaker, as you know, most Nigerians are in need of this product and they are going overseas to receive it. In US, they have liberalized the issue of cannabis. They are not scientifically extracting oil from it. A research has not been conducted of authority in this country to satisfy that cannabis can cure cancer. There's no time for it in Nigeria to go towards that direction. No matter the economic benefit, the medicinal aspect of cannabis has not been established for now.
The traits of the seed cannabis we are talking about is the non-psychoactive. It's not the tetrahydrocannabinoid, which is psychoactive.
I was going by yesterday's bill, which was just talking about licensing for medicinal purpose only. But this one talks about decriminalization and a legal framework for the growth and the sale of cannabis. So you have introduced poison chalice. You have introduced poison into the bill of yesterday.
The bill was stepped down to allow further consultation. A bill seeking the establishment of Traditional Complementary and Alternative Medicine Council of Nigeria, sponsored by Representative Alex Ebona, passed second reading. 5 bills passed first reading, among them Bill to repeal Electric Power Sector Reform Act and the National Emergency Management Agency Amendment Bill. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Presidential assent to the bills on the 5th alteration to the 1999 Constitution has further closed gaps in the Constitution and was welcomed with high hopes for Nigeria's socio-economic growth. The 16 bills signed are, however, not up to half of the bills transmitted to the executive. 19 of the bills were not lucky to receive the president's signature. Ignatius Nkwo, following up on this development, reports that the National Assembly is, however, not relenting.
With financial independence,
of state House of Assembly and state judiciary are very, very critical for the development of democracy in Nigeria.
On Friday, the 17th of March 2023, President Muhammadu Buhari assented to 16 bills that sought to amend the 1999 Constitution. The bill that seeks to provide financial and administrative autonomy for state legislature and the judiciary were among the ones that earned the president's nod and was applauded by Nigerians.
Just that would help solve a lot of issues that we have with the state House of Assembly and the judiciary.
But unfortunately, 19 other bills that embarked on that same journey with the 16 did not return with presidential ink. Prominent among them are the bills that specify the period within which the president or the governor of a state shall present the appropriation bill before the National Assembly or House of Assembly, and the one that seeks to compel the president and state governors to answer legislative summons by the National Assembly or State Assembly.
The president thinks that for us to compare the president or the governor to the assembly, houses of assembly or the National Assembly will not be an easy thing for them to comply with. That's perhaps why they did not sign that. Or to also say that they must bring appropriation bills to the National Assembly or the houses of assembly might be challenging to some governors or to a president under some circumstances.
The bill that seeks to remove transitional law-making powers from the executive and the one that proposes the creation of the office of the Accountant General of the federal government, that is, separating it from the office of the Accountant General of the Federation, were not assented to. Having applauded the president for appending his signature on the 16 bills, the National Assembly insists on revisiting the other 19 that were not signed.
This time is short, but it's to synergize with Mr. President. We know that if there are areas where they need us to tweak, we still have time to quickly tweak so that we can get these things right.
To again have a committee that will look at those bills that we feel strongly about that he has not signed, and we'll go back to advising again why we think he should sign these bills. But if ultimately the president refused to sign the bills, the option left for us is that there is going to be a 10th assembly, and we'll continue the struggle.
The National Assembly transmitted 44 bills to state assemblies, but they approved 35. Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Former Deputy President of the Senate, Ike Ekweremadu, has been found guilty of an organ trafficking plot involving bringing a 21-year-old man to the United Kingdom. Ekweremadu's wife and medical personnel who served as a middleman were also found guilty of the same offense. Ekweremadu, 60, his wife Beatrice, 56, and Dr. Obinna Obeta, 50, were convicted of conspiring to exploit the man from Lagos for his kidney. Prosecutors told the court that the organ was to be removed and given to the couple's daughter, Sonia, aged 25. Sonia was, however, cleared of the same charge. While it is lawful under the UK law to donate a kidney, it becomes criminal if there is a reward of money or other material advantage. The convicts are yet to be sentenced. Troops have arrested 32 indigenous people of Biafra IPOB and the Eastern Security Network ESN terrorists in Enugu State, recovered arms and permanent voters' cards from them. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that this was made known at the Defense Media Operations Briefing in Abuja.
It's another Defense Media Operations Briefing for updates on ongoing armed forces operations across the country within the last 2 weeks. Top is the rescue of 91 kidnapped victims, arrest of 43 Boko Haram terrorists, and the elimination of 28 unrepentant terrorists in the northeast.
Troops conducted cordon and search operations to villages in Igbo, Ize, and Izu, Uzo, North local government areas of Enugu State. During the operations, troops arrested 18 indigenous people of Biafra and Eastern Security Network criminals. Troops also recovered 4 serviceable and 2 unserviceable pump-action guns, 11 cartridges, 13 machetes, 3 knives, 161 permanent voters card.
Similarly, 2 kidnappers have been arrested while receiving ransom in Colgate State.
Preliminary investigations revealed that the suspect was sent to collect a sum of 2 million naira only.
Within the period under review, 117 illegal refining sites and 152 dugout pits were deactivated by troops of Operation Delta Safe in the Niger Delta. From the Defense Headquarters in Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
And staying with security matters, the federal government is upscaling measures to mop up illicit arms in the hands of non-state actors. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, stated this at multilateral stakeholders meeting organized by the National Center for the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons in Nigeria. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa has details.
More than 12 billion rounds of ammunition are manufactured annually, with 857 small and light weapons in circulation globally. 70% are said to be in Africa, and Nigeria is said to have the bulk of these illegal arms. These have amplified criminal activities in different parts of the country. And to halt the proliferation of the illicit weapons, the federal government in 2021 established the Center for Control of Small and Light Weapons in line with the ECOWAS and the United Nations Charter.
The National Center for the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons in Nigeria has been working assiduously since inception in 2021 to ensure an illicit arms-free society.
This multilateral meeting is to tackle the proliferation of small and light weapons in the Lake Chad Basin member countries in view of the complex nature of the threat.
We must work together as a region to address the root causes of this terrible problem, including poverty, underdevelopment, and poor governance.
It is therefore imperative that we work together to curb the proliferation of small arms in the Lake Chad Basin region if we must put an end to the senseless and mindless violence of Boko Haram and other violence mongers that are widespread in the region.
The outcome of this platform is expected to mop illicit arms, punish offenders, and ensure strict control of arms in the region. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed has applauded the role of the Nigerian Navy in securing Nigeria's territorial integrity. He stated this at a Shipping of Stripes ceremony for 2 retiring senior officers promoted to the rank of 2-star generals. Anthony Forson reports.
2 officers, Princeton Afedri and Jamila Malafa. She happens to be the most senior female naval officer from northern Nigeria and the first female lawyer from her village in Adamawa State. They were decorated by the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Awal Gambu.
The ceremony today, which is a crowning glory of hard work, dedication and loyalty to the service, and by extension to the nation, is no mean feat.
The Chief of Naval Staff assured that no amount of security threats will dampen the morale of the officers and men of the service.
Good news is that there have been tremendous successes recorded in the last few years. Notable results are reduction in piracy, which culminated into delisting Nigeria from the International Maritime Bureau's list of piracy-prone countries, and removal of war risk premium, limiting to reduce cost of insurance from 5,000 United States dollars to 960 United States dollars for merchant ships coming to Nigeria.
For the Information and Culture Minister, the patriotic zeal of the Nigerian Navy is commendable.
The Navy is probably one of the least celebrated and underreported arm of the armed forces. But any close observer would know the immense role the Navy is playing in securing Nigeria, the significant role the Navy is playing in helping our economy.
Their efforts, he added, has given Nigeria a brighter image in the global scene.
We also know your activities are not just, restricted to, the maritime area. I think there's virtually nowhere in Nigeria today you do not find the Navy, supporting the military, supporting the police in keeping law and order.
In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
We'll take a short break now. The news continues in just a moment.
This is
Thanks for staying with us. As Muslim faithful commence fasting in this year's month of Ramadan, the President-elect Bola Tinubu is calling on Nigerian Muslims to remember the country and leaders in their respective supplications to Allah. In a statement, the President-elect urges the faithful to remember that Nigeria's diversity is for a purpose, and he prays that the citizens all work to strengthen it as they join hands to bring progress in Nigeria by praying for unity. And the Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Saad Abubakar, has urged Muslims to avoid politics of bitterness and be their brother's keepers in the blessed month of Ramadan. He gave the advice at this year's Ramadan Symposium held at the Sultan Machido Institute for Quran and General Studies. Aliu Muhammad has more.
Ramadan lecture organized by the Sultanate Council in collaboration with Islamic Education Trust, IET, and Nigerian Union of Journalists, NUJ, had in attendance traditional rulers, Islamic scholars and youth organizations, among others. Chairman of the occasion, Sultan Muhammad Saad Abubakar, said the essence of the annual Ramadan gathering with the theme Ramadan, the month of blessing, is to bring together Muslims to feed them with the words of Allah. The monarch took time to explain that sighting the moon of Ramadan is done according to Islamic tenets and tradition of the Prophet. Governor of Sokoto State, represented by the Secretary to the State Government, Menasar Ahmad, said the symposium is timely, assuring of government support at all times. The guest lecturer and member National Moon Sighting Committee, Dr. Muhammad Saleh Kaduna, spoke extensively on the sighting of the crescent of Ramadan, saying there is no complication, but only those who are ignorant of the provisions of Islam. He stressed that announcing sighting of the moon is the responsibility of the Sultanate Council. Sheikh Ahmad Helele spoke on the do's and don'ts of fasting. The symposium featured questions and answer session. In Sokoto, Ali Muhammad Kawai, NTA News.
The Adamawa State Working Committee of the All Progressives Congress has directed the Local Government Executive Committee of Eula North to constitute a disciplinary committee to investigate the alleged suspension of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, by the party's executive of Waterways Ward in Eula local government area. Secretary of the APC in Adamawa State, Raymond Chidama, in a statement described the alleged suspension as unconstitutional, null and void, and warned ward executives in the state to desist from such acts against party elders like the SGF, Boss Mustafa, who, as a loyal party man, is contributing towards the success of APC. The statement adds that appropriate sanctions will be applied after thorough investigations to all those found wanting. And the National Council for Women's Societies is urging the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to ensure the release of the governorship election result of Adamawa State devoid of manipulation. President of the umbrella body of women in Nigeria, Lami Adamulo, is worried over the inability of the coalition officer for Fufure local government area of Adamawa State to release the results.
As the umbrella body of women in Nigeria, we appeal to the electoral umpire to release the governorship results in Adamawa State to each station that is currently building in Nigerian women.
The women further urged INEC to announce results that only reflect the wish of the people. And the Speaker of the ECOWAS Parliament, Sidi Mohamed Tunis, says The successful conduct of the 2023 general elections in Nigeria stands as an example of democratic transition and governance for other countries in West Africa. At the delocalized Joint Committee meeting on energy in Freetown, Sierra Leone, Tunis encouraged ECOWAS member states to emulate the conduct in Nigeria to consolidate on democracy in the region. Onengie Fineface reports.
Prior the conduct of the 2023 general elections in Nigeria, the ECOWAS Parliament had noted that a free, fair and credible process is non-negotiable for the region's biggest democracy. Speaker Sidi Mohamed Tunis says the organization of free, transparent and inclusive elections is the best way to ensure the transfer of the inalienable sovereignty of the people to those who govern.
I am of the firm conviction that the success of democracy in Nigeria will go a long way in boosting the region's democratic credentials. It will at the same time legitimize Nigeria's leadership status, both within and outside the African continent. I use this medium to say, congratulations Nigeria, congratulations West Africa.
He welcomes the successful conduct of this democratic exercise and congratulates Nigerians for the quality of democratic life they have demonstrated. The ECOWAS Parliament, he notes, is committed to strengthening representative democracy in the community by contributing to the promotion of peace, security and stability in the sub-region. Onengie Fineface, NT News.
The National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, says following a review of the affairs of the party in the country and pursuant to the provisions of the PDP constitution as amended in 2017, it has referred the Governor of Benue State, Samuel Atom, to the National Disciplinary Committee over his reported involvement in anti-party activities. The party's National Publicity Secretary, Dibbo Lugwagba, in a statement disclosed that the NWC also approved the suspension of a former governor of Ekiti State, Ayodele Fayose, former president of the Senate and secretary to the governor of the Federation, Senator Ayim Pius Ayim from Ebonyi State, Professor Dennis Iteavia from Benue State, and Dr. Salam Aliu from Zamfara State. Their suspension takes immediate effect. In other news, as Nigeria works towards creating more green jobs and its bid to reduce net zero emissions, the country is also determined for a just and gender-inclusive approach in the process. Minister of Labour and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngige, stated this at the launch of the Nigeria Initiative for Climate Action Transparency Consultancy Project. Joseph Otsen reports.
Nigeria has expressed commitment to 20% emission reduction by 2030 unconditionally.
Because you are trying to tackle climate change, at the end of the day, it creates a problem of loss in jobs.
The International Labour Organization also sees windows for the creation of not less than 18 million jobs worldwide in the process of keeping global warming below 2 degrees Celsius. Here, stakeholders in government, organized labor and employers converge to explore these opportunities with an eye on just and gender inclusivity. The Ministry of Labour and Employment is spearheading the interface, and the minister is represented by the Permanent Secretary.
We have appointed and commissioned the national project consultants who are working closely with the ICAT-appointed international team of consultants to deliver the project in close consultation with all of you gathered here today to ensure that manufacturers are not further burdened because they are already operating in a very harsh and troublesome environment.
The engagement started in January 2023 and will span 12 months. In Abuja, Joseph Utsen, NTA News.
Time now to go over to Hingino in Lagos for more reports on Network News. Hingino.
Thank you, Cyril. The federal government is upscaling the inland waterways to becoming an indispensable mode of transportation that will equally contribute appreciably to economic growth. Michael Olale reports that to fast-track this process, acquisition of more boats and construction of jetties are ongoing.
Vast reserves of waterways covering 10,000 kilometers prove Nigeria's vital positioning when it comes to harnessing the inland space for economic developments. Despite having 28 states connected by water, translating potential into visible results still required intense efforts. The quest to change the narrative is on, and the federal government, through the National Inland Waterways Authority, NIWA, has perfected methods that could enhance safety on board, while the provision of incentive will spur a major transformation.
We have to enhance more of the water transportation where the boats that they will have. And if we have more boats on ground, it will now reduce the tension on the land transport.
The ability of the maritime sector to leapfrog the contribution of oil and gas to the nation's gross domestic product, GDP, is strong if properly harnessed.
On realizing that the resources available to government will not be able to meet up all the needs, we have opened contacts with agencies and companies that are interested in working with us on the PPP arrangement to get some of these jetties concessioned so that they can put more money in developing them. We're even talking with some groups that are bringing vessels so that we can open up strongly that sector. And then encourage movement of cargo from point A to point B, from Lagos to the hinterland.
Suggestions were also made on establishing a one-stop shop for developing the inland waterways in Nigeria. Beyond this, NIWA is monitoring rainfall prediction with the view of identifying areas its inputs will be most needed. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NT News.
As part of events to commemorate this year's World Oral Health Day, Toleram Group, manufacturers of Colgate toothpaste, is promoting public awareness of the importance of oral hygiene to the general well-being of citizens through a 20-kilometer walk. The brand is also providing free dental care to residents of Amur Dauphin local government area and its environs. Joel Pupola reports that the annual event has become a major thrust of Colgate corporate social responsibility.
The World Oral Health Day has become a landmark event in the calendar of Colgate toothpaste. This year, it took a more elaborate dimension with a 20-kilometer walk, which was held simultaneously in 15 states across the nation. From the Apple Junction in Amuwo Dauphin, Lagos, for example, over 1,000 core members and other volunteers embarked on the Enlightenment campaign, demonstrating their excitement in partnering Colgate to promote oral health. The free dental camp sponsored by Colgate gave residents the opportunity to receive free dental care, which includes a cavity check, treatment for a hole in the tooth, relief from tooth pain, treatment for bleeding gums, and other dental ailments. A variety of products were also available to provide relief for teething-related issues. National Marketing Manager Colgate Toleram Toothpaste, Anthony Amadi, says Colgate toothpaste offers the best protection for the teeth.
Cavity causes holes in the tooth, and all our products is partnered towards protecting people's tooth from cavity. And to add it up, we have a new initiative which is called My Tooth Doc. My Tooth Doc is a campaign or an initiative by Colgate Toleram to educate people about their oral hygiene.
Amadi sheds more light on the variant of Colgate toothpaste.
We have different products, the maximum cavity protection, we have the Max Fresh Spicy, we have the Max Fresh Cool Mint, we have the Herbal toothpaste.
Other stakeholders say the unique selling point of Colgate is its all-encompassing protection.
It's an efficient brand that has the fluoride, which helps to make the teeth cavity free and healthy.
That's why we are partnering with Colgate, so that we can now bring it to the local level. Let everybody be aware of their oral health.
The management of Colgate Toleram toothpaste say it is also quite affordable and comes in various sizes. In Lagos, Joel Pupola, NTA News.
Time now for some messages, but before then, do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles.
And back in Abuja, Benny Adams brings us business news. Benny?
Thank you and welcome to Business. Towards boosting Nigeria's trade and investment between the United States of America and sub-Saharan African countries, the federal government has set up a technical committee to reinvigorate the African Growth and Opportunity Act in Nigeria. Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Niyi Adebayo, told the team to develop a 6-month work plan on the utilization of AGOA with a target of $50 million export volume to the U.S. Identify 6 focal products according to geopolitical zones with comparative advantage for effective coordination and actualization of the work plan, as well as develop a budget for the implementation. The committee is also expected to partner private sector for finance and strategic guidance on AGOA implementation, monitoring, and evaluation in Nigeria. The committee is chaired by Director, Trade Department, Industry of Trade and Investment, Suleiman Audu, and co-chaired by the Executive Director, Nigerian Export Promotion Council, Ezra Yakosak. And in a bid to stimulate production and productivity in the real sectors of the Nigerian economy, the Apex Bank says it has disbursed 12.65 billion naira between January and February 2023. The amount was disbursed to 3 agricultural projects under the Ankoboros program, bringing the cumulative disbursement under the program to 1.09 trillion naira to more than 4.6 million shareholders, farmers cultivating or rearing 21 agricultural commodities on an approved 6.02 million hectares of farmland across the country.
Bank also released the sum of 23.7 billion under the 1 trillion naira real sector support facility to 8 new real sector projects in agriculture, manufacturing and services. Cumulative disbursements under the real sector facility currently stands at 2.43 trillion, disbursed to 462 projects across the country, comprising 257 manufacturing, 95 agriculture, 97 services, and 13 mining sector projects. Under the 100 for 100 policy on production and productivity, the bank also released 3 billion naira under the Nigerian Electricity Market Stabilization Facility for capital and operational expenditure.
And now to the markets. Nigerian equities trade in red as stocks depreciated by 0.02%. At the end of trading, a total of 117.8 million shares in 2,575 deals, corresponding to a market value of 1.3 billion naira, were traded. Compared with the previous trading day, today's data shows 12% decline in volume, 5% improvement in turnover, and 4% improvement in deals. The current market capitalization is 29.9 trillion naira. Transcorp Nigeria recorded the highest volume of 23.4 million traded shares, followed by Fidelity Bank 17 million and FBN Holdings 13.1 million. Well, that is business news. Network News continues.
Thank you, Benny. The visible disproportionate impact of subsidy on ordinary Nigerians makes it necessary to clamor for the removal of petroleum subsidy as a matter of urgency. Participants in a sensitization workshop for the National Association of Nigerian Students and Civil Society Organizations met the school in Abuja. Lydia Sampson reports.
NAN's President Usman Barambo and Olayemi's Success, Chief Convener, Civil Society for Justice and Equity, represent the views of Nigerians on petroleum subsidy removal. And based on his understanding of the contending issues, Olayemi's Success says subsidy must be removed. The NAN's President says, though the union is not against petroleum subsidy removal, there are grey areas to be covered.
If they remove the subsidy, where is the money going?
It is unimaginable that a whole sum of 13 billion naira is subsidized
per day. This says that it is high time subsidy should go.
The sensitization provided a platform for key players from the NNPC Limited to give insights to the new NNPC Limited as part of efforts to rid people of the wrong perspective, as well as help redefine the new entity of NNPC Limited as a viable commercial self-sustaining national oil company.
We are creating this platform in order to engage with you so that you know the challenges before the NNPC and the challenges before the Nigerians who own the company. If NNPC does well, you do well. NNPC has declared profit consecutively for 2 consecutive years.
If this is the reality, we must be able to reject some of the key issues that somehow limited investment into our country so that we can bring in the right investments.
They are of the view that for the NNPC Limited to play its critical roles of supporting GDP growth, creating employment, in addition to provision of energy security, independence and efficiency, it must be rid of the weight of petroleum subsidy, which they describe as a burden truncating growth across the value chains. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari felicitates with the family of late Tunji Braithwaite on the 90th birthday anniversary of the matriarch of the family, Dr. Mrs. Grace Braithwaite. In a goodwill message, he personally signed and addressed to Olumide Braithwaite, the son. President Buhari lauds the celebrant's devotion to humanity and service to the community. The statement reads, quote, "Your mother's life has truly been one that is lived in strong faith, devotion to humanity, and service to your community." President Buhari prays that the Almighty keeps her in good health to enable innovation, which is one of the 6 priority initiatives of the 2021 to 2025 Federal Civil Service Strategy and Implementation Plan, should be more strengthened to be in tune with global technological development. This was the position of speakers at the 2022 Federal Civil Service Challenge Competition Award ceremony in Abuja. Haman Jabani reports that 20 ministries, departments and agencies competed for the award.
With the thematic areas for the 2022 Innovation Challenge, including the provision of solutions to security challenges faced by civil servants to create an enabling environment for excellence delivery on their jobs, 89 entries were received, and this saw to the emergence of Oluremi Emmanuel Olusegun, staff of Federal Ministry of Education, as the winner.
The project is called GPRS Enabled Odometer. What we designed so far is just a device that can measure your fuel level before you move from a particular position, and you get the message through SMS.
The competition is aimed at injecting the culture of innovation and technology in the civil service that will provide good governance, service delivery, efficiency, and productivity in the public sector.
Your drive to compete should not be anchored on the prizes. Rather, the motivation should be premised on the passion to help the service solve problems and to be more efficient and productive.
Events of this magnitude, which advocates for innovation, is indeed in line with our aspiration as a company and global best practices.
Especially when the permanent secretaries are here, who are heading administrative matters in various agencies and ministries, don't leave out this recognition to your staff.
That this competition is intended to institutionalize innovation and to deepen the ongoing reforms within the civil service.
3 million naira is the cash prize for the winner, 1.750 million naira for the second runner-up, while third runner-up went home with 1 million naira. 10 participants also got 200,000 naira each. Hamad Jabani, NTA News.